Alright, had a little bit of rain blow in. Got my striker stuff on. Gonna try to stay dry today and catch us 5. We'll be due back at 4 o'clock today, last flight. We're one of the first boats in the last flight, so that's always where you want to be at. Everybody's blasting off now. At least the first few boats are. We'll be blasting off here in about 15 minutes, so gonna try to catch us 5 today. We need 14 pounds and we'll make the top 10. So that's the goal, 14 pounds. Anything more than that, and I'll be super happy. So let's go. Alright, so it's been drizzling rain. We're idling into Salt Springs right now. Shook some off in here and practiced on a frog, but the water's been low every day since then. So the water came back up. We'll see if we can get in here and catch some on a frog. So let's go see. Yeah, I got it, I got it. This is 4. And that is not my smallest one. Where I wasn't going though. Now we getting a check. So that one over there is probably 3/4 of a pound bigger than that one. That's probably 2 pounds. Not him. That's a different one. I knew I didn't even see the fish. I just pitched it there. Don't. Well, either. Yeah, he is. I gotta measure him again too.
Welcher, Opelika, Alabama Pro. Brought us 19 pounds, 14 ounces of bass on day 1. A tougher day today. All you need is 9 pounds and 6 ounces to jump back into that top 10. Your limit today, Kyle, 8 pounds and 7 ounces, 28.5 into 13th place. Looks like payday for Kyle. Good work this week.
That is a lot of baits. These are all the juice baits. They're just extras that I don't have to keep in my boat all the time. Keep them in the truck as backups. All those baits in that big tub are pretty much all duplicates. I keep everything in there in my boat in small quantities, but this tub right here weighs like 50 pounds. So if I put it in my boat, I'm gonna lose like half of a mile per hour, maybe an entire mile per hour, and lose a little bit of fuel economy. So I don't keep all that in the boat, and it's just too much clutter. Keep enough stuff in the boat as it is. But anyways, day 2 of St. John's River, what y'all just saw. Basically, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I was doing in this video for the Elite Series and for the Costa or Toyota Series, FLW Series, whatever you want to call it. So day 2, started off, I made a gamble. I ran down to a lake. The water came up a little. I thought it might have got to where I could go and catch some on a frog. I shook some off in practice, like the last day of practice. I went to this little spring and I shook off 4 or 5 fish on a frog back up in some reeds. So the water came up 6 or 8 inches, and in Palatka, it looked like it came up enough for the reeds to be in the water. So I ran away down there, and it didn't come up enough. I got in there, I wasted, 20 minutes of run time, plus island in there, island out. It was just a big mess. Got in there, and I just wasted like 2 hours. Get out of there, run to a little canal where I've been catching some consistently, a little dredged out part with a little marine in it. Fish that canal, nothing. Pull out onto the main lake. I see this real long boat dock with a lot of legs on it, so I start flipping that with a Senko. Boom, catch a 3.5 pounder, then catch another keeper. Y'all saw that with smaller keeper, but I didn't get the 3.5 pounder on video. Don't know what happened. I thought I filmed it, I just didn't. So went from there and started bed fishing. I caught me like 3 out there on the main lake, and I knew I was gonna get me a check with 3 because I had effectively 20 pounds on day 1, and then I had like 4 pounds on day 2 with 3, or 5 pounds on day 2 with 3. So I knew that was probably gonna get me a check. So I instantly went and started gambling, started bed fishing. Went back in the canal, caught me 2 more small keepers. Both of them were on bed. One of them was not the one I was fishing for. And then I told my co-angler, told the cameraman there's limited time. I said, I'm going to gamble. I know I'm 100% getting a check right now because I had like 8 pounds. I said, we're going to gamble. We're going to make sure that if we catch them, we're going to catch a big bag. And I really tried to force the bed fish. I had a 2.5 pounder I got to bite once. I mean, I probably saw that fish like 40 minutes. Wouldn't leave the bed. I just tried to force it. I didn't leave the fish whenever I should have. I kind of had a feeling it wasn't going to bite early on. Go to another 2.5 pounder, one that I actually lost on day 1 of the Elite Series. Go to him on day 2 of the Costa, and I fished for him, and I got him to bite like 8 times, man. I got him to bite like 8 freaking times, and could not. And I lost my day 1 of the Toyota Series. I got him to bite like 8 or 9 times on day 2. Never could catch him. Couldn't hook him. I mean, I don't know what happened. Then late in the day, I had another 3.5 pounder I was fishing for. A couple more good ones that were staying, in the bed. But I was just trying to force it. They wasn't really acting like they were going to bite, and I just kept trying to make it happen. I know better. Late in the day, I found a 4 and a 7 paired up on the bed, 2 big ones. So pull up there. Second cast, I get the 4 pounder to bite. Miss her, but I kind of hooked her, kind of turned her to the side. She spooked the 7 pounder, and he spooked the 7 pounder. They both left the bed, didn't come back again. So it just I was trying to force it on the bed fish, and it wasn't really happening. I should have went and looked for more beds instead of finding the old ones. But what I'm doing right now is take the time to tell you about the rods and reels and baits that I was using for my entire 10 days I was fishing on the St. Johns River. So I'm gonna start out with what I caught the 10 pounder on. I just pulled this out of the boat. So this is not the setup that I was using. I mean, this is the same setup, rod and reel and everything. It's just not the same bait and everything. But I forgot to mention, this is the Upriver Rod Sleeves. These are the ones that I started using this year. If you would like to try the Upriver Rod Sleeves, I'm gonna leave the code in the description. KW10 gets you 20% off. But anyways, so this has a 1/2 ounce Titan Tux on it right now. But this is the same reel I was using, the 8-to-1 gear ratio. Had 60-pound braid on it at the time. But this is a 7'6" heavy, fast, point blank rod that I built using Fuji components, Concept K guides. So this is the rod that I was flipping with whenever I caught the 10 pounder. Literally the same exact rod. We're going to chick, so I took the braid off, put fluorocarbon on for flipping. So literally the exact same rod. All I was doing was run around, and I was trying to fish current the entire time. So if I'd come up to docks, or if I was out of the current, I would throw like a wacky rig, which I fished out of the current a good bit. I would throw a wacky rig and a frog. In the current, I would throw either an 1/8 ounce Senko, a 1/2 ounce beaver style bait, or a 1.5 ounce beaver style bait, depending on how thick the cover was. I was just running everything that looked good. Had everything on the front deck between an 1/8 ounce, a weightless Senko, all the way to an 1.5 ounce weight. Had everything on the front deck, and whenever I came to the cover that needed that size weight, I would switch and use that. So this is a Shimano Corrado MGL. Got these from Summerlin Outdoors. 7'6", heavy, fast rod, and that's the one that I was punching the grass with. This is a little bit more powerful than average 7'6" heavy. This is more like a 7'6" extra heavy in a lot of brands, but super light rod. This rod weighs 4 ounces the way I built it. So I mean, I'm in love with this rod for a flipping rod especially. So this is the same rod I throw for a frog and flipping most of the time, unless I'm flipping like super deep hydrilla. I'll go to something a little bit bigger. So let me grab the other 2 rods. So I just snatched these out of the rod locker. Haven't even took the rod sleeves off or nothing yet, but this is the one that I was throwing around a ton. Y'all saw me throwing this to the bridge and to a bunch of docks, stuff like that. This is just an 1/8 ounce weight, 3/0 straight shank hook. The reason I throw a straight shank hook on that Senko is because I feel like every bite that I get is going to be a fish in the live well. I even snell it with an 1/8 ounce weight. So bobber stop, 1/8 ounce weight, straight shank, 3/0, straight shank hook. Same reel, Shimano Chronarch MGL 8.2-1. I think it's the 8.2-1. Let me look real quick. Something like that. It's a 8-1 for sure. Don't know about the particulars, but this is 7'3" medium heavy extra fast. Same thing, point blank 7'3" medium heavy extra fast. Concept K guides all the way out. Fuji components. That's what I was using to throw this, skip the Cinco around and pitch it up into all the lily pads that I did fish, even though I hate fishing like that. And this bad boy right here, 8-pounder on day 1 of the Costa off bed. And this is the same exact hook. I think I did retie it since I caught the 8-pounder, but this is literally the same hook. This is the wacky rig hook that I throw most of the time. It's like a straight shank Nico style hook with no keeper. Happens to be a Gamakatsu, but this is the new Shimano Strata. I think this is the FL, or no, it's the, I don't know. It's the new Strata. It's got the long stroke spool. That's what it's called. Whenever I bought it, that was the big feature for this one. But this reel is freaking phenomenal. This became pretty much my favorite rod that I've been using recently. It's so light. I've never enjoyed throwing a spinning rod, but after I built this thing, I actually do enjoy throwing a spinning rod now. So it was actually kind of fun to go around and throw a wacky rig around these docks, especially catch an 8-pounder on it. But this is a 7-foot medium light extra fast wacky rig rod. Particularly, I ordered this blank just for wacky rig rod. I've got 2 of them, and I'm going to order another one. I built this thing out, using the new Longfoot Fuji concept. I think these are the KR concept spinning guides. It just makes such a big difference how light this thing is. And everybody's been getting a bunch of questions. Everybody's been asking me a bunch of questions about what kind of point blank rods I'm using for what. And this is the 7-foot medium light extra fast. Y'all can see in the video how it loaded really, really well, casted really well, and maxed up with that brand new Shimano, and it was a freaking beast. So point blank 7-foot. That's pretty much the same 3 rods I threw. In both tournaments, I did pretty much the same thing. I did catch one on a frog, day 1 of the tournament. I used of the Elite Series. I used that same rod, the 7'6" heavy point blank. Same guide train on same guides on all my bait casting rods, and then same guides on all my spin rods. I like to keep everything uniform. I use really small cork, stuff like that. It just fits in my hand really well. I don't use a lot of the grip whenever I'm fishing. I hold the rod like this whenever I'm fishing. I hold the reel mostly, so I don't need a lot of that cork down there. I have big hands, but I don't need a lot of that cork, so I just keep that weight off, keep everything nice and sleek. But anyways, that's kind of what I was doing on St. John's River. I was running all over the place. I ran from Palatka north some, weighed in some fish from north, and then all the way I caught some fish and weighed in some fish out of Dexter. So I was running the entire river system pretty much that was easy to fish. So we fished everything, kept only a few rods on the deck, and fished everything that looked good. And then obviously on the Toyota Series, we tried to bed fish some more. So that's a recap of what I've been doing on St. John's River for the past couple weeks. We home now in Alabama. Gonna go try to catch some fish, cranking, spinnerbait and chatterbait and throwing a jig, stuff like that. So back to what I grew up doing. Let's go catch some biggins. If y'all like that video, I rarely sit down and talk like this for a long time, but I've been getting so many questions, I just had to do it. So leave a like, leave a comment, hit that subscribe button. I will leave a link in the description. Not a link, but a code in the description for the K9 fluorocarbon I was using. There's a discount code for that, and the Upriver Rod Sleeves discount code for that. So hope you liked the video. I will see y'all. If you like me doing these long-winded breakdowns, leave a comment. If you don't like it, say shut up and show me some fish catches. I'll listen. See y'all.